Hi, everybody. So we're on rrcc.ca, and today we're looking at evaluating information. So click on that. Now, this page and what this video talks about is basically how you guys are going to decide if your source that you find that you want to work with is a quality source or not. So you're essentially evaluating the information in your sources. Okay. So first page introduces you to this idea about, we don't believe everything we're told. And you're going to have to read this section over here. And then after you've read that, um, we've got to do this, choose a way of thinking. Okay, so read this first. You can pause the video and read that. And then click on Author Credentials and Bias. That opens up. We have this nice little cartoon over here. You can pause the video, take a look at that, and you'll understand what's going on. It's all about different perspectives depending on our backgrounds. So you find a website, and you've got to decide, is your website one that you can use for content for our class? You've got to consider authors' credentials, whether there's bias on the site, where the bias comes from, and more about bias. So author's credentials is probably the most important thing. And we're talking about essentially the qualifications, achievements, quality, or aspects of a person's background, especially when used to indicate their suitability for something. I'm going to give you guys a little example. If we're talking about the Journal de Montréal, an article they've written about a hockey game last night, compared to an article written by Le Devoir for a hockey game last night, who would you trust more? That's where you're asking yourself, well, who is more reliable for talking about hockey, the Devoir or Journal de Montréal? And I'm not going to answer that for now, but I suspect most of you guys would have, guys and girls, I include girls when I say guys, would have a clear idea about which source you would trust more for hockey. Specifically, the education, the expertise in the area, think hockey, research careers, publications the person has, what universities they might be linked to, professional meetings, awards the person might have, and appearances as an expert. So you're an expert or not. Those are all things about your author's background that could tell you whether the person has a background that makes them credible or not. The rest of what's on this page, I'll let you browse through, okay? And when we get to the bottom of the page, then you're ready to go to the next one, which is the CRAAP test over here. Click on that. CRAAP test is basically a handy way of remembering what things to look at when you're evaluating your source. So you have over here the A, which is for authority. That goes back to our author, a judgment about whether the author or publisher has enough expertise on the subject. There's also other things, currency. So is your information up to date? That's especially relevant in technological content and research content. Relevance, is the source good for what you need to do? Accuracy, that's about how accurate the information is, and that kind of relates to authority. Sometimes you might know facts in your program that show up in an article, and if you suddenly see it's different in an article, you might say, wait a minute, maybe the article's wrong. P is for purpose, so how biased the content is, and that depends on why it was created. So you have details about each of those. I invite you to, again, pause the video, read this page carefully, get to know the information that's there, and especially focusing on the author's authority back over here section, okay? Purpose, just because I mentioned it before, 3 different things a document can do. You can try to persuade people. You can try to just inform or just entertain. And a lot of texts use a combination of those, right? You can try to persuade people by informing them and entertaining them. Generally, information by itself, even that can end up being biased if it doesn't give you the whole story. So I'm I'm going to pause this right now, and then we're going to look at the background of our author for the video about sugar, Nicole Avena.